Hello. So I decided to make this video because I kind of sometimes forget how stuff happens when you're on your journey, and there's so much stuff that's been happening in the last week, even ever since I got back into town. So this competition is on. It kicks off August 1st. Today is June 25th, so we're 37 days away, I think. Yeah, 37 days away. I'm doing a countdown, so every time I open up one of my websites that I've created with my causes on it, or in my agenda where I'm manifesting and got all my plans down to prepare myself, it reminds me of the time. But anyways, I digress. The reason I wanted to make this video today is, I believe that similar to Ashley, about a few months ago, she got onto a town hall with all the delegates, and she was talking about her journey, and I feel like at some point I'm gonna need to talk about my journey, and so I want to track these moments. I want to tell you exactly what I'm going through, so that when it's your turn and I have to give you advice, I know it. I remember it. I remember it fresh. So one of the biggest things that happened was I got back into town on the 18th, and the 21st, we had our first BC regional, because I'm in British Columbia, and everyone was flying, not everyone, well, the regional was flying down from Windsor, Chelsea, who's lovely, and I didn't know at the time, but Amber also was coming down. And so I arrived on the 18th, 19th I had to get my family in order, 20th, which was a Friday, was my time to prep and figure out what I was gonna wear, all that fun stuff. 10:30 in the night, I finished work, because I was working, I had my sessions. I finished work, and I went to figure out what I'm wearing. And when I went to go do this, I asked my sister, I said, we really have to get my wardrobe sorted. Can you start shopping for me? Put some stuff in a cart just so we can conceptualize my looks for different days of the pageant and things like that. She said, yeah, sure. No problem. Can you do me a favor? Can you, can you measure yourself so that we know what your size is on this site? And I said, yeah, I just did my measurements 2 days ago. But sure, I'll do it again just to make sure, we figure out the dress size for the website so that you know what you're putting in the cart. So I look around, I couldn't find my measuring tape that I typically was using. I saw another one on my dresser, picked it up, and I measured myself. I was 6 inches larger than what my measurement usually is. Not one, not two. 6 inches larger. This was on my waist. I pride myself on my tiny waist. I was like, what? And I said, okay, maybe I haven't been working out the last little bit, bloating, I don't know, but 6 inches? Okay, let me try my bust. 6 inches larger. Let me drop my hips. 6 inches larger. I'm like, okay, come on, 6 inches everywhere. It's like the devil. I was like, oh my goodness. My measuring tape was a measuring tape I picked up when I was in Thailand. We still haven't figured out where this measuring tape is, and what units it's using, but it certainly isn't using inches or centimeters. So I had quite a bit of a mind, like, oh my God, 6 inches larger everywhere. And, I had to figure this for myself. And I took the next 2 hours, had a little bit of a meltdown internally, came to terms with it, and realized, okay, hey, you know what? It's just a number. But it was a number that I had used to subscribe to kind of identify, figure out my identity. And now that those numbers were being taken away from me, and I'm not someone who gets on a scale too often. I don't believe in numbers on a scale too much. They're guideposts, but nothing major. But the measurement, it was too much. It was too much in the moment. I had a meltdown. Then I had an emergency that night. Needless to say, I didn't sleep that night at all. And I was so exhausted. I was so exhausted the next morning, and by the time I would have gotten sleep, you know, I would have maybe got an hour if, and it was just too painful. You know, when it's just like better just not to sleep at that point, that's where it was. And I pick up my phone and I messaged Chelsea and I said, I'm really sorry, Chelsea. I had an emergency last night. And sorry, I have to backtrack. I had reached out to one of my sisters, the girl who I was in the pageant in the first place after all these years. She's a former pageant sister, and when I was thinking about doing Miss Universe Canada, she's the one, Camilla, who said, you know, you're doing this, then let's do this together. And she was my biggest support and cheerleader. And so I had reached out to her when I discovered, of course, this measurement kerfuffle. And but she had gone to bed early because that's what all the girls were doing, sleeping early, so they were fresh the next day for our regionals. So she didn't get my message till the morning, but I had reached out to her. And then, of course, I sent this message to Chelsea saying, hey, Chelsea, I really can't make it. I'm exhausted. I had an emergency. And I don't know, I just can't make it. But after I sent this message out, after I sent it out, I realized I'm in a video. Just let him know. So, after I sent the message out is when I realized that, what am I doing? What am I doing? This is regionals. This is the start. This is the beginning of this. Like, I can't miss this. Like, I don't care what's happening. I don't care how tired I am. I got to do this. And so, you know, I sent the message out, but then I got right back up right away. I was, you know, in my bed, wallowing in exhaustion and self-pity for, at that point, about 35 minutes. So I messaged another member of the organization and I said, hey, measurements are actually, no, I had sent the message the night before saying my measurements were off. She's 3 hours ahead, so she had already messaged saying, get your measurements in, whatever the new ones are. So I went and got my measurements in that few minutes, thought about it, said, okay, I've got to get this going. Got up, got off my butt, got dressed, looked fabulous, ordered my Uber because I wasn't going to drive. The weather was horrible and my car wasn't ready to be on the road yet. And I Ubered it down to our location, grabbed an energy drink on the way, and as I was in the as I got into the Uber, Chelsea called actually, and she said, hey, I hope everything's okay. I heard it was a family emergency. I hope everything's all right, but you know, I know you're really tired, but this is your one time to kind of connect with us before the pageant, and we're going to be going through the walks and everything. So even if it's just for a few hours, even if it's later, do you want to come down? And I said, hey, I'm already in an Uber. I'm headed there. I actually got off my butt as soon as I sent that message. I realized what I had done. And I said, I'm getting in the Uber. I'm going. And I told her that. And I said, I was about to just press send on this message. So I sent her the message anyways, just to show her. I was like, hey, this is what I was sending you. And she's like, okay, fantastic. We'll see you there. And I was actually early. I got there before most of the other girls did. There was a little mix up with 2 locations with a similar name. So a little bit of a mix up with that. But the point of the matter is this. This is my whole story. Things are going to happen. And it's going to throw you for a loop. And I'm a big believer is as closer you get to your goals, the more stuff that happens, just to kind of test you, to see if you really, really want it. And when those moments happen, those are the defining moments. Those are the moments where you say, I'm going to stick to this. I'm going to find a way around this. I'm moving ahead. And I want to really emphasize something here. This is not about covering up your wounds and having something horrible happen and not dealing with it and saying, oh, I'm just forging ahead. I don't believe in persistence and resilience if it comes at the cost of personal health. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying this, is that if you really want something, there's going to be moments that are going to challenge you. And when those moments challenge you, it's up to you to say, I got this. I know what I'm doing. Gauge yourself. Feel where you are, health-wise, mentally, emotionally, all of it. But when you're done all of that, give yourself some space to feel your feelings and then recalibrate and come back. Because that's what it takes for this and for anything that ever matters to you. So I just wanted to share that because it's a fresh moment in my head. Moment number 2, I'm going to save it for another video because we're already like 10 minutes. Who's going to listen to me for that long? I'll save it for another story, but I wanted to share that. Oh, and I'm on my way to pick up my gowns. I don't have a prelim gown. I potentially have a final gown that I found yesterday. I found 4 gowns yesterday that I want to use for events, but I still don't have my prelim gown. So I'm going in today for that. So, I mean, it has to happen, right? But that I have a really fantastic winner that I put that dress on and I'm just like, that's the one. So that's what I'm going for today.